But you knew what he was thinking. You knew what was important to him. The Second Amendment was important to him. It's important to me. The worst thing that the Second Amendment does, or excuse me, that the political correctness does to the Second Amendment, is that it shuts up good people. I see good people all over the country that are scared to death to say what's on their mind. They're scared to death to be who they are. Because good people don't want other people to think they're bad. And I'm telling you folks, if you don't get over that, you're going to lose the Second Amendment. You're going to lose it. It's going to be gone. Because the First Amendment and the Second Amendment are inextricably linked. You can't separate them. The Second Amendment is the one right that protects all others. But what protects the Second Amendment? The right to keep and bear arms is protected by the First Amendment. Freedom of speech. If you don't speak up in defense of the Second Amendment, then a lot of these politicians, they're going to start thinking, well, it's not important to them. We can chip away. We can take away some of their rights. A little bit at a time. We just keep taking them away. Taking them away. Taking them away. They take one away and they look around. Nobody said anything. Take away another one. Nobody said anything. You've got to be loud. You've got to be bold. And you got to be proud. You have to be yourself. I'm not saying in your face. You can be polite, but you can be firm. And you can speak what's on your mind. This is America. You can do that. You should do that. We have one of the ladies earlier, Joy, was talking about the L word.
Yep.
Ladies. And I tell you, the Second Amendment march is very well represented with ladies. We have 2 ladies on our board of directors. We have 2 ladies who are state coordinators. And one of our state coordinators from Virginia, her name is Layla Myers. She grew up in the Soviet Union. And she's only been here in the United States for a few years. But she grew up in an environment where there was no Second Amendment. There was no right to keep and bear arms. There weren't even guns. She said the only guns I ever saw were carried by police officers. And when she got here, it just blew her away that she could walk around Virginia carrying a firearm. And she made a statement that is very true and very profound. She said, any culture is only 2 generations away from bondage. And she's right. And by my count, we got about a half a generation to go here in America. So we need to get off our dead butts. We need to get to work. Because we got some makeup to do. Last 40 years, kind of been sitting on our laurels. I'd say the last 10 years, we've made a lot of good progress with some CCW stuff. But I think the year 2010 is going to be a pivotal year for our country. It's a crossroads. We don't know where we're going to go. We have a little bit of control, but only if we exercise it. We got to work hard. We got to get loud. And we can't be afraid. I'm going to show you something here. All right. That's a gun, right? You can't do that in Russia. You can't do it in France. You can't do it in Belgium, Australia, England. You can only do it here. This is my gun. You can't have it. It belongs to me. That's why it's called my gun and not your gun. You've got to have that attitude. You got to get feisty. Fear is the weakest part of a person's character. And when you base your actions on fear, then you're already in bondage. You're in bondage to the people that you're afraid of. And I get all the time, I'll get people tell me they're afraid of the government. And my response is, well, get a new one. You know, we got a lot of people running for office here. I've been listening to them talk. They're all pro-Second Amendment. But I've noticed that you got to be real careful with politicians. You guys know that saying, how do you know when a politician is lying? And it's true. But I'm hoping that the folks that were talking to us earlier today, they're not politicians, they're leaders. Because we need leaders. We don't need any more politicians. For the last 50 years, we've had politicians, and they are flushing this country down the toilet. We've had enough. A leader is just somebody that somebody else follows. We don't need a politician to stand up and say, this is what you need. We already know what we need. We need you to do what we tell you to do. That's what we need. And if you're not going to do what we tell you to, then get out of Dodge. It's time to send a whole bunch of people packing. No pun intended. They just kind of flow, I don't know where it goes. You know, get out of D.C. You don't belong there. You don't represent me. You're not one of us. You're not even an American. You go to D.C. and you try and take my guns away? You can't do that. I'll stand up. I tell you, probably, you know, all the people that I talk to, I think maybe the feistiest are the ones from Texas. Because I remember I went on a talk show in Texas. Boy, they picked me apart for 2 hours. The callers, what do you mean? Marching on D.C. without guns. And while, you know, I can respect, you know, their attitude and their intentions and, you know, their gumption, we're not there yet. But we're closer today than we were yesterday, and the day before, and the day before, and the day before. When I left Michigan at 5:30 this morning, MapQuest says it's a 5.5 hour drive. That's a load of crap. My wife got up with me, and she supports me in all this. But I can tell she's not happy. But she supports me. She got me off. She knows the reason I'm doing this is for my 14-year-old daughter and my 12-year-old son, my 3-year-old son, and we got a son on the way due in October. You know, I'm leading the march on Washington, D.C. and every state capital in this country, an unarmed march, so that 5, 6, 10 years from now, my kids don't have to march armed on D.C. to try and take this country back.